A few days ago, the Florida Maquis released a video detailing some very strange events that occurred over the Gulf of Mexico near Ciudad del Carmen. The Mexican military tracked a flight of craft that they could not identify and launched interceptors, but immediately realized how overmatched they were. They could barely keep up with the craft, much less track them. And when it was determined that they were being pursued, these craft broke off one to chase off the interceptors. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this video already. It's one of the most popular in the last 6 months for the Florida Maquis. I do believe I have an explanation for what we are looking at. Two questions usually enter the mind of folks who look at these events. Why are they doing this? And how are they doing this? Some say they know who, some don't know. But it's usually the why and the how that garner the most attention. I believe I have an explanation for at least one of those questions. The missing link in cosmology is the nature of dark matter and dark energy, Stephen Hawking said before he passed on. John Moffat said hunting for elusive dark matter is now a multi-billion-dollar international scientific industry. About 4 years ago, during my investigation into Antarctica, I came across a location in the Mertz-Ninnis Valley that looked like an active Stargate, based on the descriptions from the fictional TV series. Now, sometimes governments will use cover like this to disprove those who might find things. These are 3 images from the series, and one that was found on the surface of Antarctica. Now, to take this one specific location and correlate it with a dozen others in what looks like a mapping system would be virtually impossible. But in today's video, I'm going to show this. These craft are using dark matter and dark energy, and world governments know about it, and they are attempting to harness it. Our first stop is here in a Sudbury mine. This is in Canada. Physicists probe dark secrets of matter. Buried 2 kilometers underground in an active ore mine, DEAP 3600, pay attention there, is the most sensitive dark matter detector of its kind. Scientists are hoping to shine a light, so to speak, on one of the deepest mysteries of physics. You see, that's the thing about dark matter. It doesn't interact with light in any way. Now, ready to have your mind blown? This is a picture of the device that they have buried deep beneath the surface up in Canada. And wait until you see the location we're going to cover. It's going to absolutely make your jaw hit the floor. Now, notice all of these interconnected lines on this device. Here's a picture of it under construction before they put all of the detectors in. Here's another look. See how they have a centralized area and then smaller locations and then larger locations, and how they interconnect all of it? Does that look familiar? Well, it should, because this is something that I have discovered using Google Earth Pro all around our globe. One of the newest finds is out here on the seafloor. Another very strange Pentagon-shaped location that can't be explained. And it connects to other locations, and it gets even better than this. This, of course, is the Marquesas, made popular by the song Southern Cross, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. We have in the center here Hangaroa. This is Easter Island, where the Moai heads are. A very strange location in Argentina, once again Pentagon-shaped, all correlating to the Stargate we found down here in Antarctica. Oh, but there's more. This is that strange location in Brazil where we found the clearing with the Pentagon that mimics the internal courtyard of our Pentagon almost exactly. And this is Marrakesh, phonetically sounding virtually the same as the Marquesas. Yet this is in Berber language, and halfway across the planet, the Marquesas is in Marquesic. Very strange, but it all ties together. It all ties together right here in this very strange corridor in the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, what I'd like to do is turn off the rest of those locations very quickly and show you one specific line that connects everything. If you start at the Stargate down here in Antarctica and you take a straight line to Hangaroa, Easter Island, you find, and remember this shape very quickly here, remember this shape. This very, very strange stand of trees that intersects. It's Pentagon shaped, just like many other things we found. We continue that straight line, and where does it end up? Well, as we zoom out and move northward, we come to this corridor near Ciudad del Carmen, where that video was shot that everybody watched. Now we end up in a flight corridor where these craft were observed. And the things that lie along this line going northward cannot be explained. Who remembers all of the Gulf Breeze, Florida sightings of UFOs? Well, that's where this is, very close to this line. But it gets even better. Who remembers the very strange and mysterious crash site where we lost 3 high-ranking members of the U.S. Space Force? Well, that occurred over McMinnville, Tennessee. Some of you might remember that. But let's continue the line northward. Oh, look where it ends up. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And I'm sure those of you who understand ufology know the significance of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. But then it continues northward. And where it ends up, going right over Detroit, by the way, is this, it's not Sudbury downtown, but this very strange mine where they have this weird device buried, trying to discover dark matter particles, And lo and behold, when you show up here, look what you find. You find this very odd section of the ground that has collapsed. But it's collapsed in a very strange shape, hasn't it? Almost a perfect 5-sided pentagon. Now, what are the odds? Yes, it's true, you can draw one straight line between any 2 points. But let's zoom out and look at this globally. We have a Pentagon here. Wright-Patterson. Mysterious crash where we see the loss of 3 of the most high-ranking Space Force assets that could have been in one plane at one time. Huntsville, Alabama. The Marshall Space Center. Not very far away, Eglin and Tyndall. 2 incredibly important Air Force bases. The Gulf Shore sightings. And then, of course, we have the event here where we saw the flight of UFOs that nobody could do anything about, leaving Ciudad del Carmen. We continue the line. Hangaroa, Easter Island, all ending up at the Stargate in Antarctica. Now that's just one line, one corridor, one flight corridor. When you put it together with all of the others, there's no way this is a coincidence. And when you look at what they're building beneath ground, just west of Sudbury, that it mimics this map almost identically, sorry, not buying it. They're also doing this in South Dakota, near Deadwood, and that location lines up very closely with another line that we're going to do in another video. Now, to put the finishing touch on this, John, King James Version, the first chapter, the first verse. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life. And the life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Dark matter is a hypothetical form of matter thought to account for approximately 85% of the matter in the universe. Dark matter is called dark because it does not appear to interact with the electromagnetic field, which means it does not absorb, reflect, or emit light. You see, that's the key. This is basically right here a scripture detailing dark matter, and that it exists, and that it is very, very contradictory to the light that is within us. And I believe it explains a lot of things, a lot of darkness, especially in Canada lately. That we can find a Pentagon in the middle of the ocean in the Pacific that lines up with the Stargate, that correlates with the Marquesas, correlates with this event, Hangaroa, a strange Pentagon in Argentina, the Pentagon that just appeared in 2019 in Brazil, Marrakesh, one of the most ancient sites in all of history, also lines up. These multiple locations that we just delineated throughout the southern United States, the Midwest, and up into Canada. The Guardian in southeastern, I believe it's Alberta. It all lines up. All of it lines up. Another Pentagon in the North Pacific. It's a dark energy transportation grid. And it would give anyone who had command of it the ability to move in ways that just we can't comprehend yet. But that's what they're trying to do. And I'll leave it there. God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.